Madhu share, Madhu Pujari, we are sharing.
Yeah.
Go live, sir.
A very good morning to you all, respected doctors. It's indeed my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all for this very interesting and kind of its own webinar by country's leading cardiologist and wellness speaker, Professor Dr. Sadanand Shetty sir from Mumbai. It's honor for us at IPCA to host this very useful webinar in this current difficult situation. In the beginning only, my sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Sadanand Shetty sir for sparing his time and enlightening us on the topic of healthy living. For this webinar, we have very respected scientist and researcher from the country, Dr. Anil Parikh sir, President of Medical Affairs at IPCA Labs. It's my honor to welcome Dr. Anil Parikh sir and introduce him to you.
Thank you, Avinash. I think warm welcome, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome all the doctors who have joined across the country for this today's webinar on science of spirituality, wellness and well-being and healthy living. And today we are all very fortunate because we have none other than Dr. Sadanand Shetty, who is really well versed in all these things, and he guides us actually on the daily basis. I'm very fortunate to receive daily messages from him, and these spiritual messages are, I think, very important. So when we say healthy living, I think it is not complete till we are oriented towards spirituality, and this orientation towards spirituality is very important. So we have a speaker who is really we are all fortunate today to listen to him, and we will be this will help us in guiding how to not only live a healthy life, but also how to be bring little spirituality in our daily living. I think it's very important. That's what I consider. And although he is well known across the country because of his his participation in various continuing medical education programs, he is very kind. Whenever we request him, he is always there for us and always supports us, and we receive his guidance regularly. He is a consultant interventional cardiologist and currently President-elect CSI, Cardiological Society of India, Mumbai branch for year 2018 to 20. And then he is also head Department of Cardiology, KJ Somaiya Super Speciality Institute, and formerly emeritus professor at D.Y. Patil School of Medicine, Nerul, Navi Mumbai, and founder Sadanand G2S2 Foundation, and chairman and managing director of Sadanand Healthy Living Center at Sion East, and founder CVD India, editor-in-chief of India's Cleveland Hall of Fame India edition, biography and patient ebook. And I think I know him since he was in Sion Hospital days, and he used to be favorite of Professor Ram Murthy sir, and that's what I think that has also rubbed him off. I think Professor Ram Murthy, I think something he has really imbibed many good qualities from Professor Ram Murthy sir, and I request, without further, I think I would request him to give his today's topic and start the today's proceedings. Floor is all yours, sir, Dr. Sadanand.
Thank you, Anil Parikh, my true friend, guide, and philosopher. And good morning, all listeners. And I must compliment IPCA for organizing such a very unique conference, unlike any product-based or a scientific the content like what we normally do day to day. I would like to thank Johnny, Edwin, Avinash, Archana, and the entire team using this particular talk. So what will be our, for the next 1 hour agenda is I'm going to address to you over about 45 minutes And then maybe 15 minutes or so, we will have, the question answer session or maybe some comment. And of course, Anil and me, we are almost, into this morning sermon every day. So many things, has to be learned, and we have to still in the process of learning. It is not that, I am, what I'm saying is the complete topic of this particular topic, what we're discussing, but at least, whatever we need, particularly as a physician, because as a doctor, what we are, what we intend to know all these factors, which I think are useful. And this is what I've been doing over my career of practice. That's over 35 years. And even during our education, as rightly Anil mentioned, one of my, the teacher, almost like my godfather, many qualities we could imbibe from our teacher, like Dr. Ramurthy. And he was in one of my many scientific forum he was involved, including my the scientific forum for the various students, undergraduate, postgraduate, etc. Now in this particular slide there are 2-3 things which I mentioned, because I have not mentioned my various qualifications, but only thing, the first is my healthy living. And that's the, the foundation of our career from the beginning. That means how to keep ourselves healthy, and that's the way we practice, and that's what is shown here. And then of course doing a foundation, which is basically means to give something back. Like we will discuss in the course of our discussion, what exactly art of living means. Art of living means art of giving. Like if you give something back, you will be happy. Of course, more detail we'll discuss in the course of time, and therefore we formed a foundation. And then of course the Cardiovascular Diabetology India, which means basically giving back to the community in a cardiovascular disease prevention. Like, today cardiovascular disease progress has taken place quite tremendously. There are a lot of advances in the treatment, but these are available only for less than 5% of our population, because large majority of the people cannot afford our costly therapy. And even the cardiovascular disease what's occurring can be easily preventable. So basically giving a simple, the education to the mass, and in particular for us doctors to realize that this is a reality, that we can prevent the cardiovascular disease. So these are 2-3 my fundamental, like I can say qualification, or, the thing which I mentioned in, rather than mentioning all degrees, achievement, etc. One, how you are practicing. Second, how you are giving back. And then are you doing back to your society of prevention? Like, your social the commitment. Like a man is a social animal. Does he give back to the society what he has achieved from the society? So with these 3 things, the sort of, attachment, I can say, I'm proceeding to the next, the heading. That is, what is the science, art, and spirituality of all these things? If you see, science means basically what we are learning throughout our medical education, or any education for that matter. That means essentially we say science means what we get the brain or the knowledge, and that is basically head, we can say. H stands for head, which is a science. Art means how, after knowing these all scientific facts, how we are applying in our day-to-day practice, how we are doing a practice called art of practice. Is called another H, which is hand. How your hand you are using. Like I am writing a prescription by my hand, which is after knowing enough scientific facts. So how you are applying, are you doing the right thing to the patient, etc. What human qualities you as a doctor require, and that is important. Then of course the spirituality means, in simple term, it is the soul awareness, your self-realization. Like our identity is based on our soul. Our identity is not by my name, but by soul, or a soul awareness, or a self-realization. And that we call it as another H, which is heart, because soul is supposed to be within the heart. There is no structural identification in the heart. It is supposed to be very, very micro structure. But we say he's a heartily guy, or he's a heart guy. His heart is good, in the sense is supposed to be very good spiritually. That means the self-realization good. So in the simple terms, H is the head, scientific knowledge. Heart means how you apply by writing, or doing something. A physician writes prescription, surgeon operates by the hand. And spirituality means in the heart, and humanitarian quality means H. So H square. So this is a simple way of putting like a 3H approach to our career as a medical person. Then let us come to what is these three terms mean separately. Now health means, we say what health means I will define later, and why wellness and well-being separates from the health I will discuss in my next slide. If we have to go by the definition of the World Health Organization, it is health is a state of physical, mental, spiritual, and a social well-being, and not freedom from illness. It is not a freedom from illness. In fact, ignorance of health is an illness. Remember. So we need to have, is a balance of all these four states, and then we call it as you are in a healthy state, supposed to be in a healthy state. And that basically depends upon the two factors. One is the body health, and second thing is the mental health. And the body health, how you can take easily by whatever, like diet modification, taking a balanced food, exercising. If you have got some illness, say diabetes, hypertension, taking care of that. So these all will take care of our physical health and the care of the disease. Mental health, how we can take care, and mental health depends upon what factors is. One is called as the spiritual health as shown here, and the second thing is the social health as shown here. So if I have to say physical health is physical health, mental health depends upon these two important things. So this is a fundamental of this particular understanding. If your spiritual awakening or a self-realization is good, that means as a human being, you're a spiritually awakened person. And if you think, you want to do something back to the society as a social commitment, because we are a social animal. Human being is a social animal. Man is a social animal. We get everything free from the society. When we are born, we have got everything ready. Like when I became doctor, got everything ready for me, teacher, subject, the publication, textbook, etc. But am I doing something back after getting all these things? So you have to understand your commitment back. And so these two things will govern your mental health. So health is a state which is like in a healthy living. But when you are, applying your, all the lifestyle factor to this health, then we call it as a wellness. That means you are making, lifestyle modification. You are enhancing your life health to see that you are well all the time. That means you are looking well, you are feeling better, you are doing well, etc. We say these all comes a wellness. That means to see the state of health, applying that to maintain that properly, we apply various the enhancing factor like a lifestyle, motivation, etc. Then it is supposed to be the wellness. What about well-being? Well-being basically means beyond this even the wellness. Basically for that, being means is our soul. Remember, like we say human being means our identity is by the soul. Like a being human and human being is not the same. Like human being should be being human. That means our soul awareness should be there. If that is there, then what is called as a well-being. That means you are doing this part properly, that you are happy at the end of the day. Like if I've done good to my patient, I feel good because I am happy, I am content with my work. And that terminology we call as a well-being. So it's a very simple, like healthy living means just seeing your state of all these four factors. About the well-being, we have to make two more, we have to make extra effort to keep our, the lifestyle, etc. And we have to apply that. And we have to see for, the well-being, in addition to these all four factors. One is the emotional health and the environmental health. That means basically, you have to be contented with what you're doing. So this is a simple way of differentiation, well-being and wellness and the healthy living. Now let us come to a little further, And what I'm going to discuss throughout my the talk is overview of this, because we can't go into depth, everything in 45 minutes. Now, if you see the prerequisite for a mental health is the physical body. That means we need a sound body for the mind to exist. If the body itself is not proper, your mind cannot set in that. So the physical health is a prerequisite for mental health. And a mental health also ensures physical health. That means it's a communion between the physical health and the mental health. Mental health also keeps your body proper. Like, for example, in our, the career, in our the day-to-day practice, we get a psychosomatic diseases where basically body disease is not there, but a mentally affecting our body. That means the origin from the psyche or from the mind. So mental health also is important to ensure pH. That is your physical health. And like psychosomatic disease, everything revolves around the mental health. Nothing much in the physical health. And how to take care of physical health is important. These are all diseases. There is nothing spirituality here. We must remember physical health to take care. It is in our hand. That you have to take proper diet, everything, maintain ourselves properly. Exercising is very important. And whatever global risk reduction, that means if you have got hypertension, if you got a diabetes, if you got a dyslipidemia, etc., you have to take care of that. God will not do anything about it. So physical health depends on individual to maintain so that your health can sustain or it can remain healthy. And once you are physically healthy, so also it will affect the mental, as I said, because it's a prerequisite. How to take care of mental health, that is the key. And therefore, the most important thing is everything depends upon the positive thoughts. You need a good company. We need a good deed. For example, every day morning we send a sermon. Like Anil is one of the person who is in morning regular post, like-minded people. I am in a good company. Anil is sending me back some more message suggesting about the mental health. So these all good company and your good thoughts and having good deed, do everything in a proper way. So good company, good deeds, good positive thoughts will ensure your mental. In a simple terms, if I have to say how many, like a spiritual guys mentioned, that man is what is eating and man is what is thinking. Just a simple two things. Physical health, everything depends upon what you are eating in a way. Mental health, everything depends upon your thought. So man is what is thinking, man is what is, man is what is eating, and man is what is thinking means physical and the mental health. So body and the mind are the tools for living. Unless your body and mind don't go in communion, we can't have a good health. And once you don't have a good health, you can't have a wellness or a well-being in that particular thing. Once you are healthy, then only you will be able to do good to yourself and to the society. Remember that. So health is the most important requirement for our every well-being. Unless you are healthy, you can't release anything in life. For example, today now seminar is going on. Why we are keen to learn more? Because we are healthy. Otherwise, we enjoy this session or we enjoy whatever learning because you are healthy. If you are not healthy, you won't have any interest of anything, and that's the most important thing. Now coming to the soul, in a simple terminology, it is our life force. It is the way we live, how we live, why we are living, what do really it matters to live, what is divinity, etc. In a simple terms, as I mentioned earlier, it is our purpose in life or what our realization. We are coming to this world and what is our purpose, what is our life force, which divinity, which keeps us shining or doing the right thing. And that is everything depends upon the soul. And once your soul is happy, you are doing like a true well-being. Until soul is not happy, you are just a wellness guy. And if you're not applying both the things properly, you're just talking about the health. So remember, these all are interrelated, interconnected words. Means to keep a positive health and to keep ourselves healthy, we need a proper, the mental status, and therefore the wellness and the well-being, and all three components are important. Just to give you an example, beyond these, the body, mind, and the senses is the intellect. Now our body is compared to a chariot. We know chariot, and the chariot is the body. That means the chariot itself. The horses are the senses. The horses are there, and the horses are carried by the chariot by the bridle. He is holding the horses in his bridle, and most important thing is the charioteer. That means your intellect, which governs the chariot action. That means after possessing all these body, mind, senses, all, you have to be intellectually develop these qualities. that intellect will ultimately govern what the body and the mind does. Because unless the charioteer takes the chariot in order, your body will be again, your body and the mind will be disturbed. So most important thing is we should have a reasonable amount of intelligence to see that you are able to apply that, and that is important for every the grade. Even a class 4 employee also should be reasonably intelligent. Why in our workforce we always want some person who is working under should be little intelligent? Because he has to apply that into the mind, because mind, the intelligence will govern even the mental, the mind status, etc. Unless we are not intelligent enough. And that's what the important role of intellect in our body and the mind relationship. Now let us go to what is Charaka Samhita mentioned. This we know Charaka is the oldest Ayurvedic, the Samhita is the oldest, the Ayurvedic, the all the learning, etc. And the Charaka we know is a father of Ayurveda and all. And if you see here again, health is the most important thing. As shown here, Dharmartha Kama Moksham Arogyam Mula Mutta. Means it's very simple to understand that Dharma is a duty. For example, what is our duty as a doctor? We have to do it. But are we doing that duty with a sense of enjoyment? As I mentioned, being, are you happy with it? Like, the soul, are you, earning a livelihood out of your duty? And then ultimately, after doing these three things, you want to be liberated. Moksha is ultimately our soul should go to the superior, where we get the soul from there. So are we liberated? Which possibly at this stage we cannot get moksha. To get moksha, we have to make effort right from our very early part of life. But whatever liberation we can do to do good to the society, or to do good to yourself, we can get a liberation provided we do. So dharma means a duty, artha means earning a livelihood, and the kama is a sense enjoyment. That means a fulfillment. The soul, the enjoyment. You are satisfied, you are contented, and then you will get the right, the liberation, etc. For to do all these things, again, great importance is your health. Unless you are in a proper health, your all these duty, etc. will suffer. So as Charaka Samhita mentions, remember these 4 words, and that is very, very important for a physician's health and the life, that Dharmartha Kama Moksha means these 4 things should go hand in hand. And for that to enjoy, we need a proper health. Again, important to understand. Now let us, after this background, let us talk to the science of diseases. What are the common diseases we are getting now, and what is the scientific fact? Like, our topic is science, art, and the spirituality. Let us talk about the science. Like, what are the common diseases we get, and what is the causes of it? We have to know adequate science. Spiritual alone cannot go by isolation. Everything, if you have to do good to your patient, we have to do the proper way. The science, as shown here, sorry, I will show that it is a little congested slide, but just to give you that our fat cells, particularly Indian fat cells, are not in like a normal order, or this is because of a genetically predisposition. We have got a genetic predisposition. We have got gift, we can say, which is a curse or gift, I don't know. But this curse of God, we are genetically prone to have the adiposity and adiposopathy. That means we are having the abnormality in the fat cell and the adiposopathy. And on the top of the genetic predisposition, we have got a sedentary lifestyle, and we have got a positive caloric balance. That we have got increased carbohydrate or a positive caloric the balance. These all give rise to increased release of free fatty acid, and that gives rise to abnormal release of inflammatory factors, adipokines, and adipose tissue dysfunction, etc. So our adipose tissue have got like a dysfunction, and that gives rise to 3 common lifestyle diseases. And that is, one is the glucose dysmetabolism, hypertension, and dyslipidemia. That means abnormality of the lipid metabolism. It is not just a hypercholesterolemia or only hyperglycemia, mind you. Even a pre-diabetic stage or a dyslipidemia at a very early stage with a minimal elevation of all the lipid factors we have already set in, disease in the body. That means the premature atherosclerosis. And these are due to, simple, one of the important thing is the insulin resistance. And this is due to increased catecholamine mineralocorticoid activity. And typically what Indians get called triad of dyslipidemia, where we have got HDL low, we have got, triglyceride high, and we have got increased amount of small dense LDL. All these ultimately give rise to atherosclerosis and vascular damage, give rise to atherosclerosis very early. So remember this, that our adipose tissue dysfunction, on the top of that sedentary lifestyle and a positive calorie balance. And this adiposopathy is due to genetic predisposition. So we have a tremendous role to take care of our lifestyle, and we have to take care of positive calorie balance, and there we have to act. So this is an important, the slide which shows simply that increased fatty acid in our population or in our the country, particularly South Asians, and India is one, that we are prone for a premature atherosclerosis. We get coronary artery disease, vascular disease, stroke, etc. early, at least 10 years younger or maybe 15 years younger than the Western population. And these all are basically coming from a simple problem called insulin resistance. So our problem is what is called syndrome X. Syndrome X basically means when we don't know anything, the proper pathophysiology or it's a causation, we call it as X because we don't know. But basically it is due to the insulin resistance syndrome. That means because of the insulin resistance syndrome, we get hypertension, we get type 2 diabetes, we get dyslipidemia and atherosclerosis. And remember, our patient many times have got two problems together. Like 50% of diabetes got hypertension, 50% hypertension got a diabetes, and also this dyslipidemia. According to me, all these 3 or 4 diseases are the same disease. They're just interrelated. It is, a particular hypertension may come first, then after 6 months you may realize diabetes or later, or you may get all these 3 things at one time, etc. So this is the same medical disease or a problem called insulin resistance, and that you have to take care. Now, how to take care of this syndrome X is a science of our health. And that basically, if you have to see how this particular syndrome X goes, because it is a genetically predisposed disease. It is not an acquired. Acquired is our, positive, the calorie balance and our lifestyle. These are the acquired, this one. What is called the epigenetics, mind you. We are genetically already prone. Epi means effect of the environment, effect of our positive, the caloric balance and the lifestyle. And this is basically in a simple term called as an epigenetic phenomenon. And if you look at the person, individual, right from the birth up to age of 60 years, same insulin resistance syndrome behaves different way. Like basic pathology is a genetic susceptibility and insulin resistance. If you see pregnant mother, if you got, like insulin resistance, a pre-diabetes, they get, in the newborn offspring disease, and they get disease at the early age. What is called as the Barter's hypothesis has been explained today. So we have to take care of pregnant mother very, very carefully to prevent cardiovascular disease in the years to come. Not only mother cells, but the health of the child. Because this child over time gets the disease much earlier than person who didn't, or a lady or a pregnant mother who didn't have a insulin resistance or hypertension. So mother's health is very important during her pregnancy. Now, if you look at this age, we have just an obesity as a presentation. So our early, the phenotypic expression is a central obesity. Central obesity is something like, apple-shaped obesity. We are thin to appear. Physically, we are looking thin, but our abdomen is, little, like a bulge is there, or what is called as our abdominal obesity. Typically, we call it a thin fat Indian. Now, this abdominal obesity or apple-shaped obesity is the early clinical, one of the important phenotypic finding when we see an individual that in years to come is going to get this problem if not taken properly. So this is important to tackle at this very early age. It is not like, the uniform obesity or a generalized obesity. It is more dangerous than the generalized obesity, because this obesity, the fat which occurs in the organ, in the abdomen, they are more into brown fat. They are not, not the brown fat, more as a white fat, and therefore, there's the organ dysfunction. Why we get fatty liver, why we get, the diabetes, pre-diabetes, because of this, abdominal fat, as I mentioned, adiposopathy. And if it is not controlled, not corrected, as the age advances, you see here, they get impaired glucose tolerance, they get hypertension, they get dyslipidemia. Still further, they get frank diabetes, frank dyslipidemia, and beyond the age, they get a cardiovascular disease. Unfortunately, in our day-to-day practice, we see patients at this stage of the treatment. Like already the provision for preventing this early age is we are lost, and that is why we see the patient at this stage, and that is where one of the the beginning I said CVD India, cardiovascular diabetology India, now our the organization doing work in this direction, right from the mother's health, the pediatric health, what we call as a Garbha Samskara, Shishu Samskara, the Prauda Samskara, the old is a Prauda Samskara, and at this various age group, we have to take care of all these things to prevent this particular cardiovascular diseases, and you have to maintain the cardiovascular health. Now, to take care of this, particular, the medical or a scientific disease, whatever I mentioned, dyslipidemia, dysglycemia, and hypertension, is a simple tips, practical dietary advice. Eat a variety of foods, reduce fats and oils, increase complex carbohydrates, eat more vegetable foods, increase fiber intake, sugar intake should be reduced, so also salt intake. People would like to take alcohol, maybe a small peg or so is allowed, but this is a way we can take care in a simple terminology. In a simple way, we can take care of that, and it's very simple to understand, and every person can take care of that, even if from the person from the the below poverty line or otherwise can consume little less sugar, consume salt intake. You don't require too much great the education for this patient, and this has to be cultivated from the very early childhood so that we can prevent the disease and we can maintain the cardiovascular health. There are many ways, like a natural antioxidants like fruits, vegetable, olive oil, wine, fish, poultry, which are helpful. Chocolates are helpful. Wine supposed to be good. Antioxidant tablets are only recommended whenever patients malnutrition, elderly, chronic kidney disease, and heart failure. And the flavonoid dark chocolates are supposed to be better. Folic acid, no cardiovascular benefit. Water therapy, hydrotherapy has no the reality. We should not advise water therapy in general, like some of the non-allopathic people, water should be taken more, should not, whatever we require, that's all. Soft sugar is, the drinks, etc. is only for, people who don't have a sugar. Calcium is again beneficial only in osteomalacia and selective in osteoporosis. And the hormone replacement therapy, which is, no overall benefit, though there is a recent Swedish study which showed that there is some benefit in HRT when we start HRT early in the perimenopausal period. So these are some of the things, which you should know to maintain our health, and also scientific, the facts which have been described, and the things which we know which are not useful, we should not go with that fact. We should not say, everything too much about it. Green tea is one thing, there is no special benefit, but if someone likes it, it is fine. One of the important thing I want to highlight here is the exercise, and the exercise we have to do as a part of our health fitness. Everyone 30 minutes a day, at least the 5 days in a week, is the way we have to keep our, and a simple way, simple way, and with a multiple benefit. If you see here, it will help in reducing the small dense LDL, it helps in reducing the triglyceride, improving the HDL, reducing the obesity, insulin resistance, inflammation, hypertension control, the simple things. So exercise is one of the important way to keep our, the health status. One of the recent study, which is, reported in one of the book, by our very senior international cardiologist, Lionel Opie, he has published in book, and there, he has mentioned these big 5 lifestyle factor, which can prevent, almost to the tune of 79 to 80% death from all cause, heart attack, stroke, and cancer. So if you don't smoke, almost 28% protection from the death, exercise 17% protection, ideal weight, ideal diet 14-13%, modest alcohol people who would like to take, and all this put together a simple way of putting these 5 things in our action in our day-to-day life, if not 5, at least the 4 thing, maintaining our diet and the weight, exercising, not smoking, large benefit in heart attack, all vascular diseases, stroke, and the cancer. So this we have to, again, important to know, and we have to spread these messages. So now after having little scientific, the discussion about the illness, common cardiovascular and the lifestyle disease, let us go into little bit about the spirituality, how this particular, illness, do our spirituality or, the soul awareness will change our thinking, and that will benefit our managing the disease. So now we are getting few slides on the simple way of applying our spiritual knowledge into something like a limbic circuit or a limbic system. We know that our, like a prefrontal cortex, and then we have got, the limbic, which is below the, the cerebral cortex, the cingulate gyrus, and then the important structures are like amygdaloid and the hippocampus, and this just below the thalamus as shown here, and then it's also below the hypothalamus here, and then they will ultimately govern the brainstem and the pituitary gland. So basically, any stimulus for us, anything which we don't like, anything stressors, emotionally or our physical or undue stress, will ultimately affect these 2 things, important structure. Like, we know the amygdaloid is basically for our emotions, and hippocampus is basically for memory. When this particular system is, disturbed, because, continuous bombarding, stress, tensions, emotional factor, that will ultimately affect the, the brainstem, and it will affect this autonomic nervous system and the adrenal gland. So the effect of all these stressors basically on our autonomic system, that means the sympathetic system, and on the endocrine gland like adrenal, steroid. So when you are stressed, the limbic system hyperacts, and that will have a sympathetic overactivity. So we will have a tachycardic, we will be anxious, we will have, hypertension, etc. And adrenal gland is stimulated, like, you are giving like an external steroid. It is just something like, you are producing Cushing syndrome. We know that how steroid is bad for the body, because continuously the pituitary gland is stimulated because the continuous, the continuous the stimulus. So if we are to control the brainstem and the pituitary gland by the limbic system, the bombardment, we have to keep these 3 things under control. And how we are going to do, I will show in the subsequent slide. But just remember, simple is the limbic circuit is an important circuit to keep ourselves, autonomically hyperactive by sympathetic overstimulation, and also by increasing the pituitary gland stimulation for the adrenal gland, and therefore a steroid secretion. So this autonomic overactivity, like a sympathetic activity and excessive steroid secretion, is detrimental to our body. So we have to take care by our whatever mental peace or mental, the fitness, this part limbic circuit under check. So therefore, if you see, this one is one which is always, like a sympathetic activation. We know that any acute stress on the brain and sympathetic stimulation, so we'll have a tachycardic, positive increase in the contractility. We have got increase in the blood pressure, etc. This is common to easy to understand. And we have got a parasympathetic stimulation, which is exactly opposite of that. That means a relaxation. Like, vagal stimulation will have a slowing of the heart rate, slowing of the contractility, slowing of the lowering of the blood pressure, where artery dilates. So exactly opposite of a sympathetic system. So by this limbic system, we have to see that we make a system more into parasympathetic activity rather than into sympathetic activity. So now if you see here, very simple. If you see the sympathetic, for the systems, messengers are all adrenaline, noradrenaline, norepinephrine, etc. Parasympathetic is acetylcholine, adrenergic and the vagal, we know by the other alternate name, and the stimulation by anxiety, stress, danger, acute, all those things are danger sympathetic stimulus. So anxiety should be controlled, stress factor should be controlled, emotional reaction has to be controlled. Exactly opposite that, sleep, rest, meditation, exercise, training. So to prevent that, we have to do this. And of course, the effect I mentioned, exactly opposite to each other. Health risk, sympathetic is bad and parasympathetic is productive. And whatever we talk as a meditation, whatever way you are doing, ultimately we are predominantly stimulating the parasympathetic system. We are blunting the sympathetic system so that our stressors and our factors of all this, will help in managing the illness. So this is what I was talking about, Lionel Opie book, which is important, living longer and living better. And whatever the 79% risk reduction in all-cause mortality, heart attack, stroke, and cancer is reported by him in his book. And the title is, he's almost 85 or so. Till few years back, he was coming for a conference regularly. And he has shown that explore the heart and the mind connection, which basically means the soul and the mind interconnection. And therefore, if you have to live long and we have to, and live better, we have to. So we as a physician or as a doctor, in learning the spirituality, we have to get to know about all these books also. So this is one of the reference I can give for you to go through so that you will get more tips to see, live longer and live better. And this is one more, this suggestion, change your thought and change your life. By Wayne Dyer, again, is a very, very useful for physician to go, and a very simple understanding of, thought process. And a very simple analysis is given in this book. Another most important thing, like a human qualities for the mental point of view or for the mind and the soul connection, is a forgiveness. If you have to see the most important virtue of what is the healing property of our the mind and the soul connection is a forgiveness. Because by forgiving, you are healing your all problems. So this is again by Dr. Gerald. All this, should be read. Other important book by Dr. George Bernard Shaw, Progress is Impossible Without Change. And those who cannot change their minds can't change anything. If not today, we have every opportunity for us to change. One thing we always talk, that change is the most constant thing in the life. So we have to change our mind for the new things, and progress cannot be possible without the change. So we have to keep on changing our, the knowledge of the mind and the soul connection by reading, the all various books which can give us simple things. When I was talking about the limbic system, this is what we have to do. That we have a prefrontal cortex, which, ultimately, has got some, the subconscious, we are conscious in the subconscious mind. And all the neuroenhancer which I showed at that time, like a temporal lobe, and then how it affects the hippocampus and the amygdaloid. As I mentioned, hippocampus is basically for the memory, amygdaloid for emotion, and then how ultimately they react to the basal ganglia, and then the brainstem. So we need a goal-directed reward circuit, and therefore we have to have neuroenhancers. And neuroenhancers are all positive stimulus, like happiness, or satisfaction, or relieving of your stress factor, stressors. So all these positive neuroenhancers will produce less bombardment of hippocampus and the amygdaloid. There's a limbic system. There the basal ganglia is under control, and the brainstem, whatever gets the stimulus to the sympathetic, autonomic, and the endocrine function gets under the control. Now coming to applying this particular the spiritual knowledge, that means the thought process and how we must act, what is called as a positive thought and positive action, called PTPA. Now this is like what we cardiologists call as a PTCA. It is not a PTCA. It is not percutaneous transdermal coronary angioplasty, but that C should be replaced by P. And my request for all cardiology colleagues that you PTCA and PTPA, let it be together hand in hand. So your positive thought and your positive action will help in keeping our professional and the personal success. It is not only like you are professionally only successful. You have to be personally also be happy, and to have to reach that goal by doing this positive thought action. One of the books which I would recommend is the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Is a good simple book, and which gives you very clear cut knowledge about the PTPA or the positive thought and action. Why positive thought is important, as shown here, which is very, very important. Your positive thoughts should become like a habit of you. Every time when you are up and about 24 hours, you are all the time bombarded with a positive thought, and it's an habit. It is like a condition, in your body. So your habit is conditioned in your body, and that word of positive thought is imbibed in you. And then once you have got that, you will be acting accordingly. That you are going to have a positive action, and that automatically will reflect your character. Remember. So just remember that word of a positive thought and make it as a habit, and then act according to that positive thought, not just to keep it in the mind. That's all. You have to act. Remember, action is the most important thing. You are the architect of your own destiny, means you have to act, but in a positive way. It is not just to keep, I'm positive like that. It is, you have to make it as a habit. You act, and that will reflect your character, and that ultimately determines your success. So man is the architect of his own destiny. As you sow, so shall you reap. How you do the thing, and you will get the fruit out of it. And therefore, you have a positive thought in mind, and that will have a positive action. That will reflect your character. That will reflect your success and the outcome, the destiny, whatever we have to say. So remember that word in a simple way. So now let us come to the how we have to live, how something like an art of our action. We discussed about the scientific fact about all these cardiovascular illness common, which are the diseases, and we have to take care of them. We also little discuss about the spirituality, about the mental health and the soul connection by the putting a positive redirection, orienting the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, that is your the conscious brain into the subconscious mind and the limbic system. That will help in making mind-soul connection better. Now let us see, with this knowledge of spirituality and our scientific fact, how we can apply in our day-to-day life. We have got 24 hours in a day. Many of my friends ask me, you don't have a 24 hours, you have got 48 hours because you are doing so many things in that 24 hours. It is not so. 24 hours are only available to us. But we have to see 1 hour we have to keep for our health. This is my way of dealing the day-to-day affair, and we have to keep the physical health, mental health, whatever you are doing, maybe the meditation, yoga, whatever we are doing, which gives you satisfaction as the mental health is concerned, and also physical exercise. But leave 1 hour for your health. It may be any time, any schedule, whatever is convenient. No shortcoming or no any excuse for that. That's the first thing. Then we have remaining 23 hours available. And then we have this PPF formula of mind. This is not public provident fund. You can remember as a public provident fund, then you'll be attracted. Moment we talk about the money, we get attracted. So here, public provident fund means these 3 P's of mind. That means your personal wealth. Your personal wealth means, your satisfaction. Your professional wealth means not only money, but satisfaction. Then family wealth means basically it is a satisfaction. The contentment, well-being and wellness is there in these 3 life. That is your wealth besides the money. Money we do have, we do want. But in addition to that, our wellness and well-being depends upon these 3: personal, professional, and the family wealth, which is beyond just a money. Professionally, how can be happy? How can be contented? We, for example, as a doctors, we have got such a tremendous platform of saving the life of the patient, treating so many patients. What best opportunity? What better than this opportunity we can have? Health and the education are the ultimate requirement of each and every individual. So we have such a platform to give health advice or treating a patient who's suffering from the disease, etc., and doing the right purpose of doing the right thing. So we have got a tremendous platform and a purpose of as a medical professional, and this holds true for any professionals. And I would request you to go through this one important book, Subroto Bakchi, defining the new standard of excellence, at work. It seems Bagchi, I think he's coming from Bihar, if I remember. And he was a very, like an average family background. But today he's almost like, what Infosys has got, something like that firm. And in his book, he has mentioned how as a professional we have to achieve the success, not only money, but how we have to be as a professional, what purpose and what platform we have. It's an important book for us to go through that. It's even very, very useful. Then one other book I would recommend also, Dr. B.M. Hegde's. Many things as a doctor, we don't get, every, like in our medical school, like don't get to study in medical schools, every fact. Like in his books, he has written nicely, this is the title of the books. It's important to go through what we don't learn from medical school, we can learn from these books. And there are simple tips and simple things, whatever positive of Hegde, actually, it is not, it's a spelling mistake. Dr. B.M. Hegde, of course, he has many, oration talk, which is at times in our medical community is, always, the divided about his opinion. But at least in this particular book, he has given a lot of, good, the thought process, and I've gone through that. It's a good book for us to read about it. The other important thing as a doctor, when you're treating a patient, we have to be compassionate to the patient. And one of the important requirement is empathy. That means, like we are sympathetic to our every person. But are you empathetic? That means we have to fall ourselves into patient's feet. That means you have to consider yourself that you are the sufferer, what is called the empathy, and we have to be compassionate. And this is, very, very important. Bernard Lawn, in cardiology, Lawn's index criteria, he is one of the very renowned, cardiologists, and he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he has written a book called Practicing Compassionate Medicine, what is called a lost art of healing. Today we have no healing actually. Today it has become automatic, like, So there's the difference between healing and curing. Curing is not the same as a healer. We need to be a healer now. Healing means beyond writing prescription or writing medicine. It is beyond doing a surgery. So we as a doctor got, the platform and a purpose that we should become healer. We should have a compassion. We should have empathy besides sympathy. And we should have all human qualities. But this is now is going out of fashion, called lost of art of healing. But now I would request, particularly, a lot of juniors may be listening to my talk, or I would convey every medical professional that let this, healing power, art of healing come back to our profession, and also the clinical science in medicine. Like, we are, into high-tech medicine today. We don't give too much importance to history examination, so that, clinical examination is dying today. Here also, like, because of lot of, the modern investigation, we are jumping to high-tech checkup, etc. Of course, they are useful, it is required, but we should not, kill our clinical medicine. So both the art of healing and the clinical medicine should be, retained in our practice. And we have to apply that in our day-to-day with modern medicine. We are, much better off today because of the advances in medicine. So we have to use that so that, you are professionally sound. So all these things are, better for the professional achievement. Now, when you are treating a patient, as I mentioned, the healing, because we have to treat the entire healing power of an individual, what is called as a holistic health. It is not just I'm, giving treatment for diabetes, or it is not enough for me to write only drugs to hypertension, but I must heal him as a whole person. It is a holistic health. Everything I must take into account. How is his mental status? How is his emotional health? How is, is he very much anxious guy, etc. We have to look into the entire, what is called the whole person healing. So it is important to know the person who has the disease rather than the disease the person has. And if I have to recall during our residency, when you have hundreds of patients to present to the boss when he comes for the round, our identity when I present a case, sir, this is pneumonia, sir, this is hypertension, this is diabetes, etc. That is fine just for the discussion point of view. If I have to finish a round of 100 patients in 1 hour, 2 hours, I can't go on talking about, but an individual person or a whole person healing is a way forward. We may say he has a diabetes, he has a hypertension, is like this, but we have to treat as an individual as a whole, or what is called as a holistic health. We have to go beyond the illness. We have to understand person's mind, psyche, is etc. All those things. Now coming to that second P called as, how the family, the PPF, not the second PF of the PPF. That means how you are going to keep wealth of the family. That means how you are going to keep, all these, the qualities, what I mentioned, there's a mental peace, etc. How to develop the family, because we are all busy in our work. We don't give too much importance. An important thing, Robin Sharma, we say child is the father of a man. We do say. That means our child will going to, imbibe what wrong you are doing during your day-to-day affair. So we have to be like a model to our child, like, nurturing the leader within your child is very important. Like I've shown you a few books, Robin Sharma's is worth reading, and that will give you a lot of family wisdom. And if you see here, the important way of, keeping a positive relationship at home and at workplace is important. Like, which is another important book is called, Well Done. Like, how whales are trained, and the title of the book is Well Done by Ken Blanchard. It's a good book actually. And this gives you every tip to be effective at work and home. More than work, remember, home is the most important thing. 1/3 of time we are giving at our home. Maybe 1/3, at our office, maybe a little more than that. But at home, when you come, you have to be peaceful. Because, carrying the entire stress of our work, etc., keeping in a family in an unhealthy condition will not be of use. So what we have to do to keep a positive relationship power to be effective at home, that we have to build our trust. We have to accentuate the positive. Even when mistake occurs, we have to redirect the energy. As I mentioned, between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, how we have to redirect the energy. We have to eliminate the negative, latch on the affirmative. Basically, all the 3 or 4 points, how whales are trained. We have seen, all these, various Disney World, or, maybe the Hong Kong, Singapore, how the whales are doing all sorts of, the activity. They're all because they have been brought, this positive power of positive relationship. Like if you give one fish to whale, it will do its thing. It will do its action. After 1 minute, again, it will come back to the, come back for another fish. So they do know that, how to, accentuate the positive. And they know how to latch on the affirmative. Moment you put one fish in the mouth of the whale, it will go and have one action. Again, it will come back. So we have to eliminate the negative, latch on the affirmative. This is also true for us at home, with our family members, and at workplace, our office, our colleagues, our friends, junior, etc. So on. So coming to maybe a last, 1 or 2 slides, basically, like, in a simple term, we have to be satisfied. We have to be contented. We have to be happy with what we are doing day to day. We have to keep our personal, professional, and family life together. And we have to be satisfied at all stages, at every part of our life, professionally, personally, interpersonal relationship, and the family, etc. So these are the few things. Of course, the various, the body consciousness will have a different. This is one which I've got from the Krishna consciousness. The other consciousness, our other group will have a little different way. One of the important thing which is common is serve others. Art of living is nothing but art of giving. As I showed in my first slide, I said foundation, which I started, or even doing a CVD India, like giving back. Like I'm content, I'm really happy if I give back to the society much. So art of living is art of giving. So serve others, whatever little way. Your education you can share, your knowledge you can share. You may not have anything materialistic world to give to the society, but you can give a simple thing, whatever is possible from your side. It is not only money. It's not only foundation alone you need. You can give your time. As we age, when we retire, we can give back our time to the, the youngsters, etc. Avoid non-veg food is one thing that our human body is not supposed to for the non-veg food, right from the mouth, our teeth and the intestine length, etc. But also non-veg is like killing, like like a violence, etc. So maybe you have to identify yourself. Ultimately, even the vegetarian food also, like killing the vegetable is like a violence to some extent. But some of the, the religious, very people are, debatable. So this part we'll have to see. It's an individual thing like that. But our human body is not meant for like a non-vegetarian food in general. We have to train our mind for positivity. Just to give an example, when you're walking, without the chappal and walking with support with the chappal, our mental, the confidence is different. With a chappal on uneven, I have to look down all the time. Am I keeping the foot properly or not? With chappal, shoes, whatever I have, at least I have some protection. So you train your mind like, in that positive way that, you have you're aware all the time. You don't are going to get, even if there is, stone or anything, dust, anything, you're going to be affected. You have to train your mind. It is not just 1 day job or a 2 day job. It is not enough just my listening to my 1 hour talk on, this spirituality, science, art you will get. But you have always opportunity to learn. You have always opportunity, to correct ourselves. Like every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. We have still time to do, we can still go ahead. Of course, intelligence is important. As I mentioned, intelligence will ultimately govern the mind. When it showed about the body and the chariot comparison, I mentioned intelligence is a chariot, is important. Spiritualize your desire is another thing, like train your mind. Just to give an example, when the boat goes in the water, it is fine, it is okay, no problem. But the moment the water comes in the boat is going to sink. So are we looking at a materialistic world, or are you going to look beyond materialistic world? So simple thing, look like that. You are sailing in a sea, in a boat, but you are comfortable till, the water enters the boat. And if it enters, it is going to take away, or, the ship is going to drown ourselves and etc. So we have to spiritualize our desire. Offering to the God, like a peace, that's what, the another F stands for, is offering. Like many, the religious body, like they offer the food before, taking yourself, because all, we have to thank God. In a way, I must say that offering essentially means we have to always thank God for whatever we have. So that's one thing we have to keep it in mind. So it's the offering of our food before eating. It is fine, people who believe we can do, it is not a must, etc. And always yield, surrender. That means we have to surrender ourselves whenever we're in difficulty, like we always. And you shouldn't be doing just, you are like never a believer of a God. You don't believe that there's something power beyond human being. There are many who are, whatever we can call atheist or something. But I would personally feel whenever we are in trouble, oh God, help me. Every individual takes that. So we will have, everyday prayer, maybe morning and evening before going to bed is an important, because maybe like a booster dose. That's my way of looking at. When you're in trouble, when you're surrounding, suddenly God also will ask you, this fellow never remember me, only when in trouble he remember me. So maybe you can keeping God happy or something. So this satisfy basically. S is serving other, A means avoiding this, T means training your mind, E means the intelligence, S means the spiritualizing, F means, feast or to offer, Y means to yield or surrender. So this satisfy these 7 alphabet, and making like that will help you in keeping our health. And this is what, art of living, or art of like giving others, important. That how much we have to give back, how much we have to give back to the society what we got free. And this is the most important thing, and that is a rule of nature. And our living should be natural living. We are part of the society. We have to live for the nature. We cannot, see today so many natural disasters occurring, because all, the natural disasters occurring because we are not given that much importance to our environment, because everything, rule of nature have to be followed. If you look here, rivers don't drink their own water, but you see the river is flowing all the time. Now, like, fruit is, trees give fruit and that don't eat themselves, Like just to give example, a grandson inquires a grandfather, when he, he puts a seed of the fruit for the tree to grow. He's asked, why dad, you are a grandfather, you're putting this? Because you are now old. The fruit you will not in the world to get the fruit. Why? Then he explains that now when I am born, when I am, the growing, I got the fruit because of someone else's good work. So we have to see this important. Sun doesn't give heat for itself. It gives to us. We know if one day sun doesn't come, what will happen? and the flowers don't spread fragrance for themselves. So important friends, remember, whatever simple way, I'm not saying, you need a big wealth or money. It can be easily done, simple way of sharing that, peace, is very, very important for us, that, the living for others is important. And this is what, is the final slide, which, practically covers up. Of course, I've almost taken 1 hour, like how healthy you are basically means about the healthy living. That means as a health status, that, like health is, as we said, is a state. Do you love your life is the well-being or other wellness. Do you love your life means you are making effort to keep our healthy ourselves. And are you happy to be alive? That means are you contented? And that is where, well-being comes. So these are, all interconnected. That means, your health, wellness and the well-being. And that's what we started. And more, the information still one can, click to my website is very easy and you will get all the information related to this. And with that, I would like to end my talk. I agree, I exceeded 1 hour, but I thought I wanted to cover up all the relevant points. Now, I'm going back to Anil. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sadhanand. I think in a very simplistic way, you have covered so much, so many facets that you have really given everyone the food for thought. So I think with various acronyms, you have made it so simplified that starting with the definition of health, physical, mental, social, spiritual well-being, then, explaining the connection between stress and, disease, psychosomatic disorders. So many facets were there. And the acronyms were really very, very lovely, like PPF, then PTPA, positive thought and positive action.
Yeah.
I think the whole things were made in a very simple manner, so that I think most of those viewers should have, I think, taken many positive things are there. There was also a touch of, disease, etiopathogenesis, how lifestyle factors, they impact, the lifestyle diseases like diabetes and heart disease and hypertension. What is the connection between them, how they start, how us Indians are more prone in the form of syndrome X or, pre-diabetes and diabetes, all these connections. I think everything came out very well. And then the spiritual part also came out very well. So how we, how ultimately it will be all driven by, if we are totally spiritually inclined, that it will help us in all these things. So I think there are some questions are there. Some comments are also there, but those comments I will just leave aside. But I will start with the questions which people are asking. I think there is one question from Dr. Dr. Vigna Kishore Rao from Ahmedabad. There is a lot of questions are put on us, but when we move forward to spiritual part, when it is connected to health, we are told that we are wrong. As a doctor, what would you suggest people like me who enjoy this beautiful journey of spiritual path and who has cured depression and back pain issues more beautifully than expected? If means medicines are not helping here, that is what he wants to say, spiritual, but some people don't, like being told that spirituality for healing. So he said, what would you tell to that person? So
basically, Anil, it's a good question, I would say. What we need, as I mentioned from the beginning, we need a balance between all these, like physical, mental, and whatever spiritual health I mentioned. Of course, the physical health we can take care by whatever, like diet factors, controlling risk factor. But for the mental health, this our spiritual background and little, social commitment part is required. So it is not in isolation. You should not take, though we are not a spiritual, guru or a spiritual, speaker for that, but we are, seeking spirituality in our career and our education and practice. But we have to, take a simple thing that, you have to be ultimately satisfied with what you're doing, which will give you like, like a spiritual happiness like that. So even in treating a disease with a backache or even for that any particular medical problem, if you are content and you are happy with your life, etc., your outcome will be positive. Even now, during COVID time, now there is a study going on where, some spiritual things, some mental health factor, even a music, etc., how they are useful to the recovery of the patient, etc., are now under study. In fact, few of our friends have told us to enroll, but unfortunately, because we are not going to hospital, I've suggested my juniors to enroll here. So spirituality means not in isolation. It's a way of your life. Look here, we have to take our life, knowledge or our information as a part, like as a thought process, as I mentioned, as an habit. From the day we start till the day ends. Like all the time, you are a person, who are a positive and you are making the action that positive way, keeping all the mind, like, compassion, empathy, social commitment, spirituality at the back of mind. So it becomes like an automatic reflex, You should not separate out. Like, therefore, like, I won't just say, just do yoga, meditation, end of it, Say half an hour, 1 hour, you do anything, any form of mental relaxation, a spiritual thing, etc. You may go to God's room and you do a meditation for 1 hour. Remaining 23 hours, you are continuously bombarded with so many negative thoughts and you are stressful all the time. You are not achieved much. So you have to see your way of looking at it. Like what we say, yoga is a way of life. Or any exercise, any action is a part of our day-to-day living. It should be part of our life. It has to be imbibed within you. Like when I am treating a patient, I all the time look upon welfare of the patient. You're looking at, satisfying the patient in a way, whether I'm able to heal a patient, holistic way, by giving my all these, mental and my spiritual positivity to that individual. Like many of our patients, when they come to us or they meet us, sir, you are a different, or your approach a little different. Like, they do tell us, not to say that, boasting upon our this, but, patient also require that thing and it is useful to you. You don't have to spend too much about, doing something extra to, get the thing. So I would say that, you take into account all these component of health, as I mentioned, as an healthy state, apply that, the something positive lifestyle factor to, make it, wellness, and keep your, yourself satisfied with what you're doing to make it well-being. So keep these three things, like a simple thing I said. One is the state of physical health, whatever mental health. Make it happen by a proper lifestyle. There's a wellness, and make it, such a way that you are happy ultimately at the end of it. That means you are completely contented and satisfied. That way.
I think very nicely. It is what you already have told us in your disposition that it's not in isolation. Nothing is in isolation. So when you apply spirituality for a disease management, doesn't mean that you are neglecting the cause of backache. There may be spondylolisthesis. There may be intervertebral disc. So you have to.
Exactly. This again I want to stress that there's nothing like, that's why, it's a communion of science, art and spirituality. Therefore the talk, scientific facts, disease scientifically explained, whatever is the modern things are going on we have to follow. Only thing, how you are applying that is the art. And then, with a spiritual background. So in a simple thing, the diseases are diseases. Whatever I say, like I always say, or often I've told in many webinars, like, Corona, more than a virus, is a curse of God. But even if it's a curse of God, there's a divinity to heal it, ultimately. Like that. And we are treating with the drugs for this disease also. Yeah. So it has to go together. I agree with you.
Yeah. There is a question from Dr. Abdul Rafiq from Nanded. Can hypertension or IHD be eradicated fully with improvement in lifestyle modification and improvement in mental health? If not, then what percentage of these diseases can be treated with just,
No, that is, the question is good.
Yeah.
Answer, I don't think we have got the complete answer. But therapeutic lifestyle management, that we always talk about the lifestyle diseases. It is not only hypertension or a diabetes or a dyslipidemia or a coronary artery disease. We always say therapeutic lifestyle has to be practiced first. And on the top of medication also, therapeutic lifestyle must go together. It is not again, the only medication, so that it is a synergistic effect. but maybe some number of patients can go away with only therapeutic lifestyle. To me, like after diagnosing hypertension or any disease, say at the end of 2 weeks or 3 months down the line, if I need a optimum control of blood pressure for that person, whatever way he has achieved, if he has achieved by yoga or exercise, reducing weight by therapeutic lifestyle, if it is under control like 130/80 I want for a particular age or a 120/80, depending upon the clinical situation, I would accept it. Why to write medication for that patient? And after having said that, we should not be caring too much about only therapeutic lifestyle. Therapeutic lifestyle, say little walking can reduce by 2-3 millimeter, or maybe salt restriction can reduce by about 4 millimeter 5. Exercise can benefit, about maybe for 4 to 5, etc. So these all, additive effect is fine. But if you have to get the systolic less than 20 or if the diastolic less than 10, we need more than just a therapeutic lifestyle. And we have to see that there is a role for medication also. We have to remember one thing, it is not a shortcut for hypertension, diabetes or dyslipidemia management. Today's medical therapy is very good. In fact, another area which I forgot to touch upon, these diseases, whatever I mentioned, lifestyle diseases, has to be treated optimally with a good medication currently. We have got good data, like a dyslipidemia, starting treatment early can prevent the long-term complication. In fact, today we have to consider one of the important point is a cumulative effect of a particular medical problem. If hypertension is there and 10 years, 20 years, what is the cumulative effect? What is the cumulative effect of diabetes or pre-diabetes? What is the cumulative of hypertension? Unfortunately, as I showed in the syndrome X slide, by the time we see patient already got the effect of that on the organ. So we have to have a high index of suspicion and a prevention clinic very early. Like today, for example, dyslipidemia, we are talking about familial hypercholesterolemia. We have to detect early. Hypertension, we have to detect early, not at the stage when patient came with a stroke or coronary artery disease. So we have to have a preventive approach along with the therapeutic lifestyle, wherein diet, exercise, avoiding smoking. If that alone is a panacea, then the medication will not be there. So today we have so much of a tremendous, the advances in medication. Today we have got a good trial data that this disease, they prevent outcome result. They prevent the mortality, etc. So there is no shortage of using a medication, but a particular lifestyle, particular thing helps a patient to keep his, the medical diseases under control. It is fine, but don't go with that alone, that yoga is the only thing which can cure everything. It's all, supplementing. Yeah.
I think it is varies from individual to individual, but there are some things like we had a trial just reported in BMJ about, 600 calories diet and then early diabetes of 4 years duration. Those who had weight loss, the diabetes reversed. So you can say remission till you maintain that lifestyle. It is possible, but not every diabetes will reverse. I think.
And the therapeutic lifestyle is a part of our day-to-day thing. How I said our thought, positive thought and thought is day-to-day. Whether you got, ignorance of illness, ignorance of ability is, disability like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I think same person is asking again, same doctor from Ahmedabad. If there is a lot of questions are put to us when we move forward to spiritual path. Same thing is asking again, but then that he said that depression and all this he has taken care of by spirituality. So that is okay, I think. So
no, there are, you see, the other thing, it's such a good thing, Anil, just to answer that. See, there is definitely, mental health also abnormalities are there. See, we have a role for psychiatry, we have a role for psychologists, etc. But after having this particular approach, you can make out a particular person is, in spite of your advice or whatever we know about it, is not stable. So we need the help of at that time at least to refer to a psychiatrist, analyze. They specialize in that. You should not, see, you're not specialized in everything. What we have discussed today is a generalized approach, and a person who gets a proper treatment in time, even for the psychiatric help or the psychologist's advice, when we see an individual, we can make out, is this patient, having a major psychiatric problem or something minor? It is not that we should treat each and everything.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
but we must able to recognize this when you are approaching or we are dealing with a person. So we can make out that. So if you got this particular, the viewpoint on this mental health, etc., you will be in a better position to identify these problems and also identifying this illness early and treat accordingly. Like we see one of the common thing, the way today death is as a suicide or the death which are totally preventable. In fact, during the COVID time, besides the COVID death, the most other common cause of death supposed to be suicide. Maybe whatever depression due to this. So as you said, it's an individual reaction or a perception to a particular stimulus. We don't know, but we must recognize that we have people. There is a medical therapy for that also. So it's an illness. We should not say that it is just that it is just a mental life. It's not that way. It's a illness.
I think very important, but I think what is that depression, okay, maybe spirituality will help there, but then it is better to seek expert help of psychiatrists because there are dangerous signs of suicide and when the depression will go. So recognizing them is important, and cognitive behavior therapy is part of psychiatry, but then they also use medications. So I think we need to draw the line where only spirituality will help or where expert help is required.
We have to understand our limitation.
Yeah, correct.
Our qualification up to what we have to ultimately, do the right thing for the patient. What patient is right thing as a doctor, when you're, questioning, when you're examining them, you recognize. And then accordingly, that is a way of approach of healing a patient. That's why I mentioned at that time, he's not writing on prescription.
Correct. Then there is a question from Dr. Bahini Pati, effect of yoga in mind that controls lipid better than physical activity. I think this is very vague.
Well, is fine, because there are reports of, because, yoga, this thing better than one over the other. I'm not sure. Even if it is so, it's a good thing. It's an added one. See, remember.
Controlling lipids by yoga.
Because if yoga is better than physical walk, exercise, etc., is fine. Whatever simple things helps the patient, I will go by it, Anil. I'm not saying this is, I'm giving, panacea for everything. What I'm discussing is how our approach should be. If yoga is better than physical, exercising, etc., it is fine. So long as patient gets the benefit and we are able to do good to patient, is fine. Our overall aim is to do good to patient. He should be, patient or a person. A person may not have any illness. He has just come forward for our opinion or something, but so long as it is helpful to him by a simple things, it's fine, If yoga is better, it's good for us. The medical therapy can go down. It's good,
But physical activities may have its own place also.
Exactly. But you should not stretch it too far,
Too far.
It
is not one versus the other. I don't think it is one versus the other.
Exactly. Everything, is up to a limit, You should not say, I have only yoga cures. You should not stretch too much about a particular pati. I'm not against it. Make use of all the pati in a given case when required, and a simple application. It's a simple application. And maybe for a layman, if you put yoga is better than this, maybe, his way of, accepting a truth may be better, He will stick to a particular form of adherence to even yoga, adherence to exercise. Like many times, people are not adherence to things. Like this is important. Like many times post PCI, post bypass surgery, for a short time they are adherent. Like I've seen people are losing 10 kg, etc. After 6 months down the line, they're back to that. And if I ask them, sir, how are you, etc. Sir, no walk, no time. There is no smoking again started, etc. That means they think only 3 months, 6 months is important. So these adherence to your advice, adherence to your therapy is important.
Correct. Adherence to medications, adherence to
well as the lifestyle.
Lifestyle factors also becomes very important.
Adherence to lifestyle is not easy. Giving a pill is important. Easy. In fact, patient many times prefers taking. There are some lazy guys so much the spouse has to throw the pill to the person's mouth. So get up in the morning, open the mouth, throw that. In the sense, so much of lazy guys. But if you talk about the walk and yoga, sir, it is no time or a lazy like that. But pills are easy that way.
Then the same person is asking what exercise you advise to these people with lifestyle diseases.
Simple thing, is a brisk walk. What I do as a individual, maybe 1 hour every day. Though, recommendation 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week. I consider as a part of life. So I do every day, unless I can't do due to some logistic reason. Mine is all the days, 7 days a week, unless there is some reason, logistic reason, if you're traveling or some situation like that. So 30 minutes brisk walk is supposed to be the best. Jogging and all, some problem in the joints, etc. is an issue. Brisk walk, and you walk according to your speed. If you can't walk at one time 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 2 times, morning, night, midnight, anytime. Don't go by, it's your convenience like that. So I think, brisk walk is one thing. Otherwise, people are advising all type of isotonic exercise, swimming or swimming underwater. There are so many things, skipping, etc. But I would say brisk walk is one thing you can do anywhere.
To do.
It's easy to do, and you can do anywhere you want.
And
like
prevents injuries also.
The airport, etc. When we are holding in the waiting area for something, we take advantage of that. It's simple to carry, and it is easy, and it's totally free.
Yeah. Then there is one Dr. Jia is asking which meditation, what type of meditation you are advising.
I'm not,
meditation techniques.
Yeah, I'm not, into all these, particular technology, etc. What, whether it's a, particular meditation. My
Sudarshan Kriya or something like that.
My way of meditation is relaxation yourself, positive thoughts, and whatever little prayer or thing what we do standard in our home in the morning or the night is fine. Just keep yourself quiet for 5 minutes. That itself is enough. Take a deep breathing in and out is important. And you keep yourself silence, for some time, short time. Just think, thank God for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's important. That is easy enough for you. I'm not into all this, any fancy medicine. Whatever suits you and you think it is better, you carry on. But important that you should be able to be relaxed. Like there are people I can see who cannot remain still even for a minute. They're all the time in the mood. You can make out how jittery they are. So if you are able to just think, just thank God during that time, close your eyes, don't do anything. That itself also is enough. What you need is, that, still thing.
Last question, I will just,
Yeah.
Last question, somebody, Dr. Suresh Wankhede is asking, what is your advice during this corona pandemic? Because these are tough times. So what is your advice?
It's a tough time, so tough decisions, etc. Whatever we discuss, hold true also. Basically, we have to keep ourselves, physically, of course, doing too many things because, is not possible because we cannot go out of society. Many have keeping in a small area is fine. Keeping, like a deep breathing and keeping, as I mentioned, simple way of meditation, like, just keeping yourself still silence for, maybe short time. And of course, keeping your immunity wise, whatever resistance to eating properly, taking, proper time of sleep is important, which we didn't discuss, that again, hours of rest is important. And if you're disease, sick of anything like diabetes, hypertension, taking care of that. And prayer is most important. As I mentioned, I would strongly feel there is a time factor. It's unprecedented, Last thing came similar 102 years ago during Spanish flu. And this, we are going to see once in lifetime. We may not be there in this world to see such things in the future, because I was told every 100 years something like this comes. 102 years back, that Spanish flu, we have not seen, a lot of that. So we think it is something like that. So it is, like a virus, and also curse of God I mentioned. Do prayer, divinity will help us, and take, usual precaution for the health. And only we pray that, we should, let me get corrected so that we'll be able to, move freely, etc. Like I'm now finishing 95 days of total lockdown. These are not left my compound of the house, no clinic, no hospital. And I can't imagine 95 days staying at home. Though we are occupied quite busily with the webinar, writing papers, etc. But it's a tough time. But we have to adapt to this. This is where I say that your thought process, your actions, your character will reflect, during such tough time. Like a tough time is more the time where your character will ultimately will help you in overcoming this type of thing. So I would say, we have to be calm and collect. We have to go by whatever happens. I mean, fear and all those things are natural. We all are human beings. We also have fear as a part of our life, but we have to be positive. Look positive. Out of it. Many things we are getting like in a webinar like this. Web-based our learning is definitely better now. We realize that, unlike our meeting. So many webinar-based our consultation, web-based like audio or video call is becoming easy, and many other web-based technology is improving. People in the pharmaceutical, we are doing everything from the home. Once in a week, you may be meeting like that. So basically, our work, little bit suffer during this time. I agree, but so long as we are healthy, we can always make wealth tomorrow. I personally believe, if you keep yourself healthy, the first requisite of your wealth is the health. Unless your health is fine, you are healthy, you cannot release your wealth. So remember, everything, the most indispensable thing in our life is a health. And if you are not healthy, whatever wealth you have got, you're not going to this. And this is a tough time. So there is no easy solution. And we have to take a proper care of ourselves and hope, hope and prayers are the more important. Because I'm very much into God fearing, it's not like a God loving, a God fearing person like. So God will make us okay like. I think you have exceeded almost half an hour, I think, Anil. Yeah.
I think it was. I think sincere gratitude to you on behalf of IPCA and all the viewers who have logged in and listened to your. It was I think in all the everything was distilled and it was wisdom came out, and I hope that this presentation will be shared with those who want to have this presentation copy, or at your website also there will be slides like this. I think we can have, so that we just remember the PTPA, the PPF, and the Satisfy. So this will be good to recall and have that. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we all enjoyed today's talk, and there were a lot of lessons were there in that. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Anil, for giving this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else from Avinash? Anyone else to talk, or now we are finishing, or anyone? It's over.
I think we are.
Okay. Avinash, any remarks, or it's over?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's all, sir. Once again, I heartfelt thanks to you, sir. It was indeed a great pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you.
And we are really thankful to you at IPCA, sir, for sparing this Sunday morning as such. And I thank all the viewers. So stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Avinash. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
काय विनाश चांगलं होता.